Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? This is your boy Isaac.
And this is your boy Bryce.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. And folks, we are bringing to you another round of a collaboration that started last year, and we are so excited that it continues into 2021. We have Miss Penny Lerner back on Brothers on Tennis. We've been talking a lot with Penny, and we are finally collaborating on an initiative. And Bryce, I am extremely excited about what we have coming up. Brother, how are you doing today, and how are you feeling about Miss Penny Lerner?
I am doing great today. And, you know, it's easy to look back during the whole pandemic time and say, you know, oh, all of this bad stuff happened and we couldn't do this and we couldn't do that. But I think almost everyone could look back and say there are some good things that came out as a result of maybe us being at home and doing things a little differently and maybe meeting people we may not would have met otherwise. And obviously for us, one of those people is Penny Lerner and just the organizations that she works with and the opportunity to collaborate with someone who works with organizations that have such a rich history of great events and just we are very honored to be working with her. So for those of you that don't know, this also marks the very first time we have a repeat guest.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Absolutely right. So go back into our archives. If you look on our website under special episodes where all of our interviews are, you'll see, I think it was in December of 2020, we posted our initial interview with Penny Lerner. So you can go back, listen to that, hear all about where she came from, how, you know, she that her organization she works with, the AYS Sports Marketing group, Citi Taste of Tennis. You can hear all of that. It's still out there and we want you to listen to it. But what we're going to do is we're going to reintroduce some of those things for you, for those of you who may not have listened to it quite yet. So without any further ado, we'd like to welcome Penny Lerner to Brothers on Tennis. Welcome, Penny.
Welcome again, Penny. Yay! Excited.
Great to be back.
So good to have you back. Oh my goodness. It's so wild how much has just transpired between the time we talked with you back in December of 2020 and even now. We were at least towards the end of I shouldn't say end of, but it was the end of the year and we had been dealing with about 9 months of the pandemic. So checking in with you, just how are you doing? How are you? How did everything with you and the family go during the pandemic? Just want to get a great update from you and see how you're doing.
You know, it was a year and a half, I think. It's like 10 years, you know. Like it went, you know, it actually went really fast, but it's that line, right? The days were really slow, but the year went really fast. Me as a person, I think I'm better than I've ever been. I'm thankful that I had the time to recollect my energy and refocus where I was going. And I think I'm a better boss, a better leader, a better mom, a better all-around person, honestly. I learned a lot about myself, about our business in tennis. I learned a lot about partnerships and, you know, particularly in my family. I learned a lot about my husband that maybe I didn't know and my children that maybe I didn't know either. And I feel really, you know, blessed. I was crushed at first from the pandemic, like every small business owner, but I think today I feel more blessed than crushed. It was all around, it was okay. You know, I feel better.
Well, that is good.
That's awesome. And if only everyone could have that kind of reflective perspective during this period. So Penny, for our listeners who may not have heard your initial interview back in December, we want you to talk about two main things from your background. And one is that you are currently the CEO of AYS Sports Marketing. So we want to understand what that is and what you guys do there. But also, as a part of that business, you are a producer of events for the Citi Taste of Tennis brand. And so, once again, for our listeners who are not familiar with the events that you guys host as a part of that, just give us a high-level update on that.
Sure. So AYS Sports Marketing, I started with my mom about 25 years ago, I would say, and we are a marketing and events company. Particularly, I'd say our sweet spot is tennis and culinary. We align brands with leading chefs and top tennis players and create moments all over the world. And that is how we came up with 22 years ago, the Taste of Tennis brand. We kind of built the brand from the ground up, and about 8 years ago, we were lucky enough to meet Citibank, and they came on as our sponsor. And now we think we've created a really unique brand for Citi called the Citi Taste of Tennis that we've been able to kind of grow and implement and do really, really fun things.
And Penny, I'd like for you to brag / pat yourself on the back a little bit here. Once again, for our listeners that are not aware of the scale of the type of events that you have thrown in the past, the A-list type of personalities and people that you've had attend your events. Give them just a little insight on that.
Well, if we take the past, 20 years, obviously Serena and Venus Williams have come to my Citi Taste of Tennis for the past 10 years. Rafael Nadal, Andre Agassi actually helped us start it all those years ago, but also in basketball and other events that we've done. Allen Iverson, I'm from Philadelphia, so Allen was a big part of our business when he was a live active player, and even when he retired early. We've had an array of athletes come through our door. Naomi Osaka. In the digital space, we worked, during the pandemic with Maria Sharapova, John McEnroe. Every tennis player that you can across the board, we've interacted with in some way, shape, or form. And that pretty much goes, as you guys know, tennis. I always say this when I'm talking at colleges. Tennis is a way into other sports. So all your top tennis agents are also very friendly or sit next to all other sports agents and all other entertainment agents. So John Legend has come to our events across the board. We really have had a very nice array for the past 25 years. Been lucky.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what, I'd say there's a bit of skill that goes into that as well, Penny. And you're right. Again, talking about the blessings, that everything that has transpired with Citi and with AYS Sports Marketing has just been phenomenal. And that's why we are so very excited to be collaborating with you on this year's event. And that's kind of what we were hoping to touch upon is we've got a few little new things that are being introduced this year. So for our listeners, can you kind of talk about what this year's format is going to look like?
Yes. So this year, as everybody in the whole world, we have been, pushed to our limits. As a small business, as women in business, as an underserved community, we have been pushed in various ways to just come up and be creative and be resourceful and kind of find the silver lining in what we're doing. And I realized through all of this is that other people were doing exactly what I was doing. Other small businesses, my friends, and particularly my friends in the culinary business. And, when I heard that there was an inkling that we could possibly have a live event in New York, I immediately started to make calls with my partners like you guys. You were one of our first calls, and our chefs. And we just started to ideate and throw ideas around, agents that I've worked with, and just figure out. And what we came up with, which I'm really excited about, is we've created a Citi Taste of Tennis culinary team. So I'm taking 6 of the chefs that I've worked with over the past several years that are all small business owners, which is incredible. And we are producing a Citi Taste of Tennis food truck. And I was actually able to use the graphic on the truck a couple of years ago. I hired a New York City graffiti artist, a street artist, to create artwork for me around the Taste of Tennis, graffiti artwork. So I'm actually taking that artwork and I'm repurposing it, and it's going to be on the truck. And we're going to start in DC, and we're going to kind of drive the truck, from a couple places like the Omni, the Player Hotel, to the City Open, Union Market, drive it into New York and have it be in really all over the city, Union Square Partnerships and Tribeca and right in Midtown. And then we're going to have this incredible concert at Tavern on the Green to kind of end it all with John Mcenroe as our lead entertainer.
Oh,
that's it.
that is phenomenal, Penny. That is so, so incredible. And just speaking in regards to the pandemic, the one thing that really was hit hard was, again, the restaurant industry, our chefs, the food industry. So to be able to do an event that ties that in is just, in my eyes, it's absolutely phenomenal. Hopefully it will continue to rebuild what was taken away from the culinary industry during this last year and a half. So when you brought this forward, I tell you what, it just made my eyes widen so wide. It's really phenomenal. And so the one thing I do want to ask you, though, is what kind of drove this particular change? Was it strictly because coming out of the pandemic and again, just thinking, hey, we have an opportunity here to tie more of the culinary pieces in? Is that sort of what drove the change, or were there other elements?
No, I think getting out of my comfort zone and really being tasked with like, how do we celebrate as a company? How do we celebrate that we made it through? How do we celebrate our friends that, we all worked together and we worked so hard? I mean, I feel like small businesses have like PTSD at this point from this thing. Like one day you're on top of your game and you're like, okay, I feel great. And the next day you're like, oh no, so you can't, if we didn't have our village, if we didn't have our people to talk to, I just don't think any of us would make it. And when I started thinking about that and, in bed, this is where my best ideas are, when I'm kind of in the morning drinking a cup of coffee and thinking like, how do we bring more business to? That's how we started the Taste of Tennis, is that restaurants were really slow in New York in August, and I had been really involved in the Super Bowl and I saw all those parties before the Super Bowl. And so I thought, how can we bring that party concept, to tennis? And so now we want to bring that concept even more and showcase these 6 incredible chefs that own their own restaurants, that are doing what we're doing. And, they deserve to be, they deserve the dollars and they deserve to be celebrated. And, we all should eat. And I think the other beautiful thing about it, which is my favorite, is that it's cuisine across the board. We have Chef Jazzy in DC, it's Indian cuisine. You have, Chef Bao Bao, it's Thai. You have, Chef John, it's American cuisine. We have like Fanny's doing all of our paletitas, which are little Mexican popsicles that we're handing out. So you have this incredible array and delicious cuisine available. So why not put it all together in a truck and offer it out to New Yorkers?
Right. Well, I want you to speak on something that I don't want our listeners to miss it. You spoke about the concert that's going to be at the end of all of this, and you stated performing will be John Mcenroe and his band. I'm sure some people don't even know John Mcenroe has a band. Can you speak on what that's about?
So I hear he's quite a rocker. He's been married to a rock and roller and Patti Smythe for 25 years, I think. They just did some fun interviews together over quarantine. And to be honest, John was really good to me over the pandemic. He did more things, for us than other people. And I learned that he's a rocker, and I learned that he has skill, and I learned that he's fun. And he even calls his band the Johnny Smythe Band. And so we thought, he's also from New York. So what a way to celebrate New York. You have these incredible lineup of chefs. And then you've got a New Yorker who happens to be a tennis legend, who happens to be a performer, and might as well culminate with that.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. So let's stay on the chef thing. So now you say you have this lineup of great chefs. Can you talk a little more about, who's on the culinary team and maybe what we can expect from them?
Yeah. Well, you can always go to our Instagram at Taste of Tennis to get updates and to get, what they're actually serving. Each chef will kind of take a week. So when we start out in DC, will be with Chef Jazzy Bindra, and he's from Punjab Grill. So he's participated in the taste in DC many years and is just an awesome person, like incredible guy. And so each chef is actually going to do some meat and they're going to do a vegetarian dish. So you can get to taste each portion of it. Nice. And then we have John Mooney, who's actually located right at Union Market. And he has a restaurant called Bidwell. And he makes some sort of cold pizza. So we're going to try some really fun, different pizza for John. And then right on site at the Citi Open, actually, Jazzy will come back and we'll do some of his stuff. And at each of them, again, we will have the little paletitas that we're giving out to people, which my favorite part is we branded the popsicle. So it has this little, our racket fork that I love is actually going to be on the popsicle sticks, which I think is really cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's cool. And then in New York City, we have Chef Alex, who is at Union Square in that area. So he's going to come out and make his incredible lasagna. I've heard only amazing things about it. And then we have Chef Winford Simpson. He actually lives in Brooklyn. He's from Jamaica. He's participated. If you've come to the Citi Taste of Tennis, you have seen Winford. He is one of our most vivacious and incredible chefs. He owns a place called the Simpson. Mm-hmm. Do you guys remember him? Have you seen him?
I had not before, so this will be new for me.
My first as well.
Okay, so he's doing some veggie burgers and jerk barbecue sliders. And then we have Chef Bao Bao, who owns Bauberg in Williamsburg, and she's making like really cool Asian noodles. I'm not sure what the actual dish is, but that's what it is. And then we've got, who else we have? We obviously have John Dougherty, and he's doing some really cool chicken Milanese. And that's it. And then the night of the concert, actually, all the chefs are going to be there. And instead of a walk-around food tasting event, you're actually going to sit in a seat and be served from each chef. So they'll kind of tell you what it is. So you can taste all the food that we had on the truck for the whole month. It'll be served right at your table. You don't have to move.
Man, that's so what, Penny? I tell you what, you've got me hungry right now. You got me hungry, because I tell you what, all of us, and I love cuisine across the board. So very excited to to taste all of these the what's coming from all of these chefs. It's so incredible. Is there anything else specific to them that you either know about or want to share in regards to their backgrounds?
Well, I just think it's important to know that all these guys, again, are chef restaurant owners. Now, Jazzy is the CEO of Punjab Grill. It's actually much bigger than just the one restaurant, but he is leading the brand in the U.S. So all of these chefs have had to deal with everything we've all had to deal with. And every single one of them, I mean, I can go on in detail about these guys. Like, they did not stop. Jazzy got right to it into the community in DC and was feeding people almost immediately. Bauberg, she is Chef Bao Bao, Shannon. She went and she immediately pivoted her backyard and made it into this like tiki heaven, right in the middle of Williamsburg. You know what I mean? Yeah. Winford, like Chef Winford was like, he just got right on the digital, and he just owned the camera, and these are not chefs that are supported by big companies. These are not big agency people. These are like me and you. They're the average folks that make our days go by that sometimes we forget about, right? We love our chefs on TV and we love to watch the Food Network, but like, these are the guys that feed us. These are the community people that keep us together. They celebrate with us, they cry with us, they toast with us, and they survive with us. And, each of them are amazing.
So,
absolutely.
Before we talk about our partnership in these events, Penny, I'd like to hear from your words. If I'm a listener right now and I'm listening about what's going to happen in DC, in New York, and I want to be involved and I want to participate, what am I to do? What would you recommend that I do to see how I can be involved?
So I think there's a couple things. We are, this truck is going to be moving around the city. And not to get ahead of it and talk about our partnership, but you guys are going to be helping us promote our truck and track our truck. And if the food is free. It's really a celebration. Like, I've paid for everything. This is for people to enjoy it. Like, come on out, come to the stop, come to Union Square, come to Tribeca, come to Midtown, come to where we are, and you will get a piece of what we have. You can taste our event without experiencing 1,000, people in one small room. You can have a taste of it. Just follow Bruthas on Tennis, follow Taste of Tennis, and come join us because we'll be talking a lot about it. Mm-hmm.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And you're right. We are going to have such a fun time with this. And honestly, Penny, it doesn't surprise me. You were talking about the chefs and some of the things that they did and how they had to pivot for this pandemic. It doesn't surprise me because of the fact that you are that type of person. And I know that you have that energy around you. So having good people around you and hearing those examples of how people pivoted to help others during the pandemic is just it's what I expect. When you're really kind of dealing with a lot of your family, as we call it. And I just think that's so commendable and commendable for you, because again, I know that you did a lot of the same things. So it's just wonderful. And again, we are so excited about this coming up. So we do want to talk a little bit about our partnership and some of the things that we are going to do to make this thing even bigger and broader and well known to those who may not know about it before.
Absolutely. And, one of the things that we're very excited about is, Bruthas on Tennis, when we started out this whole thing almost 2 years ago now.
Yep.
Our 2-year anniversary is coming up at the end of next month. I don't know that we knew. I mean, we were like personally on social media, but I don't think we would consider ourselves like any kind of, experts or anything like that. But it's funny, once out of necessity, you start putting your hands in things and you start doing things. The next thing you know is like, wow, are we kind of becoming like influencers or something like that? So with that being said, one of the things that we're very excited about is we will be assisting Penny and the whole Citi Taste of Tennis event with marketing and promotion of the stops and the events on social media and online. And one of the things that Penny has already talked about is we're going to track the truck. So as the truck is moving across, DC and New York, we're going to make sure that all of you are aware of exactly where the truck is. So if you're in the area and you have an opportunity to stop by and to participate, we'd love to see you do that. If you are not in the area, but you're still interested, you still want to follow along and you want to support, we will be posting images and videos and pictures from the event so that you're able to see the dishes and the chef's food and the people that were there and how successful each stop was. Each chef kind of has a signature dish, so we want to make sure that we highlight that, because guess what? When you have an opportunity to go to their restaurants, you may want to try that particular dish. Also, something that we're going to do, if you've been following Bruthas on Tennis, you know our association with music.
Yes, come on now.
We do is music. So we are very happy to announce that we have created a very special playlist that is dedicated to the Citi Taste of Tennis truck tour. And it includes songs that we were inspired by just the concept of this whole thing. But we also selected individual songs that we felt kind of represented each chef or the food that they would be preparing on this tour. So during our promotions online, you will see us using songs from this playlist across, from the start of the event to the end of the event. We will also make the links available so that you are able to go and listen to the playlists in their entirety. They'll be available on both Spotify and on Apple Music. So we are just super excited about being able to contribute in this capacity. Penny, I mean, your thoughts about Citi Tennis of Tennis, AYS Sports Marketing, and Bruthas On Tennis together?
I mean, for me, with everything that we went through and where I am and where my company is, I think when I ran into you guys, it was just great to run into people that share the passion that I have, right? That share the passion and commitment, not just for tennis, but for community and friendship and drive, and also just to be innovative. It's kind of what you said, like, okay, we might not have done this before, but now we're doing it, so let's like do it together, right? I mean,
Exactly.
guys, it's such a natural tie-in, and it feels like home, right? And it just feels like this is the right way for us to go. And I'm super excited you guys, were there with me from the beginning when I designed this and just went through with me. And, we were able to pull these innovative things like the playlists. I could tell you 15 years ago, I did a deal with Verb Music. I don't even know if they're in business anymore. And I made a Taste of Tennis CD,
Yes.
Yeah. And it was super cool. But, I haven't thought about that, probably since this moment, but it's music is important, and it's cool to be able to have that. And it's great that we can get that through this partnership, because we're both coming from the same place, right? We're just thinking, how can we grow and how can we build, and where are the innovations and what ties us together? If it's not sport, it's music. If it's not music, it's food, right?
That's right.
That's everything.
That's everything. Exactly, right?
So you tie it in a knot and you put it on social media and it becomes something.
That's right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is. I'm again so very excited about this, Penny. For our listeners, this is going to really, really be a transformative event. So we ask and we hope and pray that you will get involved, go to the website, try and get some information before it starts, but understand that we are going to be that media, I guess, link, if you will, so that you really can see, feel, and internalize this great event that's going to be happening starting next month. It's coming up here pretty quick.
Yeah,
absolutely. Actually, on the calendar, I think the first event is next Tuesday, or is it Monday?
Monday
the 2nd.
Yeah, we're in DC. We're actually, since these are tennis fans, we will be at the Citi Open all day on Wednesday the 4th. So the truck will be there.
And you know what's interesting, Penny? Typically, Rafael Nadal does not play that event, but he is there. And we know that you have a good relationship with him and his team. Are you going to snag Rafael Nadal to get to one of those trucks?
One never knows, right? One never knows. He has
got to be there,
too, right?
That's right.
Exactly. So, in closing, Penny, any final words that you'd like to leave for our listeners before we wrap up?
I would just say, if anybody out there has an innovative idea, a suggestion, or something cool for us to consider as a group, DM you guys and let's see what it is. Because what I've learned through this whole time is no idea is a bad idea. I used to say that, but maybe I didn't believe it. But now I actually now I think, through conversation and through questions, we are better together. And I just, follow along, ask your questions, be creative, reach out to any of us if there's something you think can happen, because if we dream it and if we vision it, with a little bit of work, it actually happens.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, well, Penny, thank you for taking the time to come back on our show as our first return guest ever. And we're going to get this episode actually out tonight because, like you said, the first event starts on Monday, and we want to start our campaign tomorrow. So, Isaac, any final words from you?
No, Bryce. Penny, just thank you. Thank you so very much. And we are just really so happy to be partnering with you and collaborating with you. You are wonderful. Your team is wonderful. And we are looking forward to a really, really incredible event.
Oh, thank you. Thank you guys so much. You have no idea how much it means. Thank you.
Great. Well, to our listeners, thank you for listening. Get involved. Stay on top of us as we track every day of this great event from Citi Taste of Tennis. With that, this has been your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Bruthas On Tennis. Everyone, stay safe.